We all have probably heard about the revolution that has taken place in Nepal, a revolution that is shaped by Gen Z, meaning young people under the age of 28, as a result of the youth becoming furious about the government filtering the internet and social media. However, around the world, especially in the West, this movement is not called a revolution, but a revolt. Just a few days ago, on September 8, 2025, thousands of people poured into Metikar Mandala in Kathmandu, only to start protesting. Soon, the protests moved towards parliament as the numbers would grow by the minute as a result of all kind of people joining in, even the ones still wearing school uniforms. These demonstrations were organized by a Nepali civic group called Hami Nepali, meaning We Nepalis, which describes itself as non-profit. Before it all began, Hami Nepali announced that the protests would be completely peaceful and non-violent. But even then, Nepal's police went on alert, lining the streets with their plastic shields. As the crowd got closer to the parliament, the police started spraying water at them with gradual high pressure. Seeing it futile, they started firing tear gas and after that, rubber bullets. The young protesters were furious at the tactics, and after clashing with the police, the Gen Z protesters outnumbered the police many times over and eventually forced them to retreat. When the police retreated, the crowd headed straight to the parliament to occupy it. With that, the rubber bullets were dropped and came live ammunition. At least 19 protesters were killed, a 12-year-old boy's body among the dead. Besides that, hundreds of police officers were killed as well, trampled or bitten by the crowd. Many protesters were just 12 to 15 at first, and when the news of police beginning to fire live rounds spread, other citizens began joining in as well. The government tried to send everyone home by declaring martial law at 3:30 p.m., threatening to arrest anyone still outside by then, but the people didn't listen. Instead, the crowd kept growing larger, and when word spread to other cities, the protests erupted there as well. The spark was internet censorship, but that wasn't the only cause. It was also the government and most of all, the irresponsibility of the leaders. The story of this all begins in 2 years ago in November 2023. At that time, the Nepal government made an announcement about tighter internet controls for public safety, to stop online scams, fake news, and hacker attacks. With that, the government contacted social media companies demanding access to censor undesirable content. None of the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, responded. So, in August 2025, the government gave an ultimatum. If they didn't get access by September 3, all platforms would be blocked. When the deadline passed and no response came, the government made good on its threats and blocked Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, and others. The only app that was left untouched was TikTok. Many said that it was because TikTok was Chinese, though in reality its servers are in Singapore. What mattered is that it was the only platform that agreed to cooperate with the Nepal government. As soon as the ban hit, many people began using TikTok to post anti-government videos. Most of them showed politicians' families enjoying luxury lifestyles, while ordinary citizens struggled without stable income or jobs. These videos enraged people even more. Nepal's unemployment rate is at 22%. That means 1 person among 5 is unemployed. Things were so bad that some Nepalese even volunteered to fight for Russia against Ukraine just to earn money. About 15,000 went, even though most had no military training, just 1 week of rushed instruction and some weapons handed to them. They didn't go out of ideology. They went because Russia paid $4,000 a month, more than a year's income in Nepal. Meanwhile, Nepali politicians' children posted Instagram stories from London, Paris, and New York, flaunting luxury cars, designer clothes, and fine dining. They didn't even bother telling their kids to stop showing off, and that fueled people's rage even further. The phrase began spreading widely in Nepal. Politicians' children return with Gucci bags. Meanwhile, our children return in coffins. This slogan spreading just 2 days before the protests was like pouring gasoline on the fire. It's worth noting that, back in March 2025, just 6 months earlier, there had already been protests calling to restore the monarchy as well. Until 2008, Nepal was a kingdom. That year, after protests, the monarchy was abolished and replaced with a republic, meaning this republic is only 17 years old. The last king, Gyanendra, is still alive, living quietly in an old museum in Kathmandu. In these 17 years, Nepal has cycled through 13 governments, each with its own president and prime minister, and each one more corrupted than the last. Nepal has been home to some of the world's most corrupted governments, and people's anger has been building years after years ever since. The internet ban was just the final straw. Another major problem that arose from blocking the internet in Nepal was that it caused tourists to stop coming to the country, cutting off the biggest source of income. Tourists who used to fly into Kathmandu before climbing Everest stopped coming when millions of Nepalese depended on the revenue. Because of the disturbance and the damage to the economy, the government quickly backed down and repealed the filtering law, but by then it was too late. People attacked the homes of the president and prime minister and set them on fire. They even set fire to the houses of lower-ranking politicians, and the government sent helicopters to the rooftops of their homes to evacuate them, knowing that if they stayed, they would be killed. Finally, on the next day, September 9th, Nepal's Prime Minister Sharma Oli resigned. While we are making this video, the unrest and protests are still going on. Right now, there is a power vacuum in the Nepalese government, and it's unclear who will fill it. Will there be martial law? Will the former king be brought back? Or will they take some other course of action? As of this moment, while we are making this video, nothing has been decided yet. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to support us by subscribing.